here to share music, and maybe I get to be signed on a record label or partner with one of them. Who knows? So I have with me Godwin. And Godwin, how do you pronounce? I know you showed me, but we have to go back to Nigeria and to Ghana. So how do you pronounce your surname?
Olusegun.
Olusegun.
Yeah.
Olusegun. Godwin Olusegun, who is a saxophonist. Welcome to the show. And I have pretty beautiful African queen, Akosua Owusuwa, who is also a gospel artist. Akosua, welcome. And then my one and only, I call him Uncle. I believe everybody call you Uncle Charles. It's been years that you've been on the show, but welcome, Uncle Charles. Uncle Charles is the founder of AGMA, African Gospel Music and Media Awards. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Godwin, I thought you were going to play something for us whilst we dive in, but what brings you to London?
I came here because of my wife.
Oh.
So I have to come and join my wife here.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you'll be getting ready to play that. When you send me your info, you've been playing the sax for a long time, and especially under the leadership of Reverend Mensa Otabil. How does it feel to be, playing for such a great man of God and his ministry?
Oh, it was a good experience. I really love working with him.
You work with him?
Yeah, he's a real man of God. Yeah, and he has taught me a lot.
I've
learned a lot from him. Yes.
All right. When I hear someone say a real great man of God, it gets my brain tingling. But I'll come back to you. Akosua, you're a mom of 5.
Yes.
You're beautiful for a mom of 5.
You.
5. Yes. They will say you don't have a TV at home or something like that. 5 kids and you look amazing. What got you in the gospel industry?
What really got me is I really love music that is made, and especially gospel music. And I've been singing since I was, let's say, from childhood. So what really got me to, come into the ministry is I just love to sing. And I just want people out there to know Akosua Owusuwa is out there to give them something new, something great, something amazing. So in general, I just love to, sing. And I I always say this, that I really want, because it's like a gift God has given me, and I just can't keep it inside.
There's a fire burning
in me.
There's a fire burning,
for people to know this is what God is doing.
Were you singing at a very young
I started
age?
Singing I started singing when I was from 15, 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the choir? In the church choir?
In the church choir, and also back in school, a school choir. I was part of the school choir as well.
Oh yeah, they used to have all these. Do they still do that, Uncle Charles?
They do.
So Uncle Charles, I know you've been on the show, the earliest, he started, when I started many years ago, Uncle Charles was one of my guests, you remember? And it was in the...
I was in your house.
In my house. The studio was in the house. And so you've seen us grow. You've seen us grow. Uncle Charles, you've been in the music industry for a long time. You hosted a TV show, and you still host a radio show on Premiere and on another channel, ABN channel. How does it feel still doing this? It looks like you don't want to retire, if I may say.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
I basically it's a passion. It's something that I love. I mean, I love music, just like Akosua was saying. And for most of these things, I mean, my experience is that you really have to have that passion for what you're doing, especially if you're doing stuff in the gospel. If I can use this, if people don't like us using this gospel industry, but so long as there's economics involved, it's an industry whether you like it or not, because we pay for stuff just like everybody else would, so that's how it works. But you must have the passion. I think passion means a lot. It's one of those things where I think you never stop doing something that you will do even if you're not getting paid. I hope I'm making sense.
Yes,
You know, if you wake up and you do something and you love doing that thing, even if you're not getting paid for it, then yes, that in itself is a ministry on its own. So I think, yeah.
So, you know, I remember writing something that your passion is a fuel to your dream.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing something you're not passionate about, when the stress and, you know, all the disappointment, you pack it in.
Yeah.
And that drove you to found AGMA.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about AGMA.
Well, I mean, AGMA, the AGMA we see now is AGMA 2.0. Because we had AGMA 1.0, which rolled from 2010 until 2015. And then it had to be reconstituted because basically, you know, there was a partnership that was running AGMA, but you know, different people have different callings and people go different directions. So it was dormant for a couple of years, and then I kicked it all off. So the 2.1 was, or 1.0 was African Gospel Music Awards.
Okay.
And then when I regrouped it, is African Gospel
Then rebranded.
Music. It's African Gospel Music and Media Awards. Because basically I just thought it's a bit unfair to just deal with the musicians and leave the media part out, because without media, nobody hears the music.
Okay.
They go hand in hand.
Okay. So when you said the media part, you're talking about what? The TVs, the radio?
TV, bloggers, you know, all those people. And in fact, in gospel music, bloggers play a very, very important part in making sure that the music reaches out to people, because probably about 98% of gospel musicians are independent artists. They don't have any big budgets behind them pushing their music out there. If you're signed to a record company, the record company takes over the marketing and everything. But most people like Akosia and, you know, my brother
Godwin,
as well, they try to push their music out there. And the only way they can do that is by getting people like bloggers and all those people to.
And TV hosts like us to interview. So you could have put me there and given me an award.
Nominate yourself.
Oh, are you supposed to nominate yourself? I thought people were supposed to nominate you.
You can nominate
yourself. Right.
Yourself.
Okay. Next year. Now it's just. Oh, I mean, it's going to be happening soon. So I will see. But you know, Uncle Charles said something about individuals who are passionate about what they do, like yourself, Godwin, and like Akosia, and you want to promote, you want to push what you're doing out there. And sometimes, how does it feel that you know you're doing a great stuff and no one is helping you? How does it feel?
I think that's a good question. You know, when you're doing hard work and no one is helping you, you don't see anybody to help you, and you have tried here and there, you know, you feel depressed. And but as Uncle Charles have said it, when you have passion for anything that you are doing, you will continue. Whether they pay you or not, you will continue doing it till God will give.
Yeah, because I've seen the cover of your, is it Inshira? How do you, Inshira. So I'm going to come to you about Inshira and how you compose that. But Akosia, how does it feel? I remember we've had a conversation and, you know, how does it feel?
You feel really, you know, a bit sad, like no one is, you know, helping you push whatever you're pushing. But at the end of the day, I think the Bible says our helper is God. So if you depend on people to really help you to do whatever you're doing, that is when, if they are not supporting you, you get, you know, you feel bad, like, why is this person not really supporting me? But if God is backing you, I think everything will be smooth. So you don't depend on people, so that if no one is backing you, you feel a bit bad, a bit sad, like, why are people not helping me? They depend on God to help them as well. So you also have to depend on God for God to help you. So to me, sometimes I'm human. you're human, so you would definitely feel like, oh, at the end of the day, I have friends around, I have people who can help me around. Why are they not helping me? You feel sad about it. You feel like, oh, this is not right. But if you leave it to God and you tune your mind that, look, they also need help. And the only one who gives us all help is the big one upstairs.
Oh,
so
right.
if you tune your mind that way, you don't really get, upset or worried about anything. But as I'm saying, as you're human, you will definitely be discouraged, like you really need it and no one is, helping you.
If you've just joined us, we're talking music, we're talking passion, we're talking why we do what we do, and these wonderful guests of mine are in the gospel industry one way or the other, and we're talking how they get in there. Uncle Charles, you deal with a lot of artists, and sometimes you help promote their music. How do you see them? Are they serious? Do you think, oh, this one, please, I don't want to work with them?
Just like in every sphere of life, you meet all kinds of people. So you meet people who are really serious about what they're doing, really mean business. And then you meet people who maybe think they'll give a shot at being musicians. There's two different types of, people. You meet all sorts. But then sometimes it's very difficult for you to actually convince somebody that maybe you're better off spending your time doing some evangelism in a different way. I have to be very honest. Because people don't take it lightly. And there's one thing as well that, doing what I do get a lot is somebody's done an album and they bring the album to you. They're so passionate about what they've done. And of course, they've put money into it, they've put time into it. And then they hand you the music and you listen to it and you're like,
Really?
How do you break that news to that person? I always find that very, very difficult. And sometimes it's not their fault. It's the people around them. So you have people around them. Maybe they lead praise and worship at church. Maybe they're musically inclined and they've been forced. You need to come out with an album. You need to come out with an album. So people have actually inspired them to do it. It's not as if they have had a calling and they've worked through the ranks and everything else got them there to that point. So it's kind of hard. But then you meet somebody who, I was at an event in Ghana and there was a young guy who somebody introduced to me and asked that if the guy can even do only one track. So I said to him, okay, do you have a band? Do you have a band? He didn't have a band. We had only just met on that day, but then I knew the other person, so I thought, okay, based on his recommendation, let's see what we can do. Do you have a band? No, he didn't have a band. But the guy wanted to go on stage.
He was on fire.
Wanted to really go on stage. It was kind of strange because under normal circumstance, I didn't even think about it twice. And there was a band playing for another artist, and I asked them if they could. They said no, they couldn't because they hadn't rehearsed. They hadn't rehearsed with him. They wouldn't be able to do that. They walked away. Now, so I said to the guy, I said, you know what? I don't think this is going to work. Let's forget about this, And he went, I don't know, somehow he got a keyboardist. And I said, where's your bass guitarist? Where's your drummer? He said, oh, they said they were coming. Now they decided they're not coming anymore. But I'll be okay. I'll do it with the keyboardist. And I thought, okay, let this guy go up on stage. The guy picked up a microphone, and within 2 minutes of him singing, because I said he was going to do 5 minutes and that's it. Within 2 minutes, a minute of the guy singing, the whole auditorium was up.
Wow.
You understand? So there are people like that who need that break. That's, as I was saying, you do come across different people, and if you don't try, you don't know.
You don't know. If you don't try, you don't know.
Yeah.
So, Gordon, I want you to play, a little something for us for our audience to have a feel of, what you're doing. I've tried to. One of the instruments I want to play is the sax. This is the saxophone. I can see Akosua going in the spirit. Okay, calm down. So Akosua, you've written, you have an album, but you didn't want to do the album because I heard the conversation that now it's more, bringing out the single because people do albums and you listen and it's like you just want one, you love one.
People hardly download full album.
Yeah. So do you write yourself or you have somebody who writes for you?
Yes, I write myself. All the songs I write them myself, and sometimes my husband helped me a bit. Like, for instance, if I want to translate some into Twi, like this first album that I did was Twi in English, he really helped me to do the Twi version. Yeah, so I write everything myself.
What inspires you to write? Is it, the circumstance, things you go through, or just,
It's the Bible. Every time, I love to read the Bible in the morning, to be honest. And every time I'm reading the Bible, some of the scriptures just, sink into my spirit. And then after I meditate on it, God will just give me a song out of it. That's it, yeah.
So there and then, do you write it, or now that we all have our smart...
Yeah. What I do is, I write them down, and then later on, sing them in different tunes and pick the tune that I really like, and I just record it.
Oh, yeah. So you were music.
Yeah.
Because that is Uncle Charles. She's music. I think before you leave, we should. We have a saxophonist here, so we should compose something before for the Nana Church show before you go. So events, you decided to do the second phase of AGMA, and what made you want to do that?
It sounds like cliche, but it's still the passion, because obviously my speciality in broadcasting is doing African music, African gospel music in that sense. And one of the things that I noticed was that which I think God might bear this, it's very, very difficult to be out there for people to experience your ministry, or to have, to understand where you're coming from. And I just thought, it's a platform that gives people that opportunity to be seen. And to the glory of God, since we started doing this, we've seen some amazing talents who have broken forth, and people have experienced. My main aim for AGMA is that there'll be a kind of a level playing field for musicians, irrespective of where they come from. So, for instance, there's a very popular song that we all sing in church. You are Alpha and Omega. Okay, so who composed that song?
I think Israel.
Thank you very much. So if I ask 100 people who composed You Are Alpha and Omega, everybody will tell me it's Israel Houghton. But the answer is wrong.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I take back my clap.
Alpha and Omega was composed by a guy in Zimbabwe. His name is Erasmus Mitambira.
Oh yeah, and then Israel also.
Israel went to South Africa. When he went to record
in
South Africa, he picked up that song and he recorded it. So you see where we're coming from.
Yeah.
So Erasmus writes the song. They sing it in Zimbabwe in churches, but he never got to see the sunlight until somebody who had an international platform sang the song. Then the song saw the sunlight.
I get you.
So why don't we then create our own platform where we can actually help expose some of these gems that we have? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My heart was gladdened when, about a month or so ago, because when Eddie Long Bishop Eddie Long died.
Yeah.
I think now he's been replaced by Dr. Jamal Bryant. He is the Bishop of New Birth.
Oh,
in
okay. I think
Atlanta.
my husband was saying.
So when he was on the day that day, his first service at New Birth, he walked onto stage, and they were playing Sinach's Waymaker. So you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So that level playing field is coming in. Whereas in the past we would sing African American songs in our church and songs from America. Now
it's African.
So
So
that's
understand?
the idea of trying to make our music accessible, and also to help bring our music to that standard, that quality. The recording should be at a standard where if people listen to that music, they're not going to ridicule it. You know,
I understand.
We have producers now who are producing work of a certain standard. There's a young lady here in London, and I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning her name. Her name is her second name I can remember. Her second name is Tunde, but her first name, I'll remember that in a minute. She recently had an album launch, and she brought a guy in from America called Osby Berry, and they did a song from Nigeria by Mercy Chinwo called Excess Love. And I'm telling you, if you see how that song is doing on social media, it's giving it that access. Do you get what I'm saying? It's because of the quality of what they did and all of that. So basically, this whole thing is to help create a platform where people can basically give people access to their material, and it's a way of people networking, meeting people. So the event that we're about to have, we would have radio presenters there, producers will be there, people from the industry will be there. So we get to also learn how to make things better.
You know, talking about the industry and talking about music and us doing the right things, you know, the packaging also is very important.
It's not just packaging, a whole lot.
But to start with, because if, as you said, if you put like this song that you're talking about, what the Zimbabwe guy sang, but because he's back there, and then we have that international, you know, that how it's made is very important. And I have my brother here playing the wonderful sax. I wanted him to come and play because maybe somebody out there has no heard of him, but then we see other maybe gospel artists in the Americas and all that playing, and is playing the same as Godwin is playing, but because he has not gotten that platform yet, we don't see the quality that he's got for somebody to pick that up. And if you agree with me,
I mean, let's face it. I mean, you know, as harsh as it sounds, it's not every musician that will be out there in as much as we trust. You understand? But that's what I'm saying, that, you know, unless you try, you'd never know. It's like if you go to every football academy, there are young boys who are playing football every weekend, but a handful of them make it to that level. But until they start playing, you know, and somebody gives them that, you know, level playing field and the opportunity, they will never know whether they can make it or not. So it's about giving people a chance to flourish.
So, Mr. Saxman, you've been playing for Greater Works conferences for a couple of years now. I mean, and when you get that opportunity, how do you feel? Because this is a huge platform for you.
That the stage was not my first big stage. Because I've been performing in Jazz Festival, World Jazz Festival with great artists around Africa.
You've done the Mobo Awards, you've done the Ghana Music Awards.
You know, when we talk about Western Diamond in Takoradi, I came to Megastar Band in Ghana when we started Mentor, this TV3 show. We've been doing all those things, and Vodafone, Icon, all those So it's normal.
It's normal to you. But
yeah.
did you know? Yes, it's normal to you. But somebody will say, "I want to take it to the next level." You understand? You want to take it to the next level and on the bigger. Have you ever thought of doing that or?
Through that, I got to know many people. There are a lot of men of God that I've got to know through that.
And giving you the opportunity.
Yeah, opportunity. So that's what I.
So I would say you launched out this year. Just this when was this year? How long have you been out?
I think just for a month.
A month.
Yeah.
So you're fresh. You're still in the very fresh. And how are some of tell me some of the challenges you think you faced before we go to your triumphs.
I wouldn't say I have any challenges for now.
Good.
Honest, yeah.
That is exciting. It's good to know.
Things are changing.
By the grace of God.
By the grace of God,
Yeah.
amen, amen to that. Maybe hobby is giving you all the cash to buy the stuff. So it's good to know because you know some people, the first day one they're quitting already. So it's good to know. We have to come back to you and find
our
it.
big brother said, if you have the passion to do what you're doing, regardless whatever happens on the way, you will not quit. Unless maybe you're just in for something or you're not just, you don't have the passion to do whatever, you just want to try something. So if you want to try it, definitely, if something happens on the way, you will just quit.
You just
But
quit.
if you have the passion to do what you're doing and you know God has really called you to do what you're doing.
Amen to
You
that.
have
Maybe
the
in
zeal
2
to
years'
do it.
time, I should ask you this question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 3 years. 2 years. I give you a 1 year revisit. We revisit. Uncle Ches, you've come a long way, so you have some. What is some of the challenges you've had, especially in founding AGMA?
I think in AGMA, in the music industry.
In music and in AGMA.
No, I think the challenges that you would find within the gospel industry mainly is financial to start with. I mean that's one main thing because, like I said before, if a secular artist is organizing an event, he uses a sound engineer, and if I want my event to be quality, I have to use a sound engineer. That sound engineer doesn't come cheap. Okay, so for instance, the sound engineer that we've used over the last 3 years, he's the guy who normally engineers for most of the secular artists who come from Africa.
Okay.
That's for the Sarkodie's, for the Davidos and all those people because he knows what he's doing. He doesn't come cheap. You have to get lighting in because you want it to look a certain way. It costs money. The band that you would use, a carpet band, costs money. So from an organizational perspective, you have to promote, you have to put things on TV, you have to, get security, everything boils down to money. So financially is a bit of a challenge in that sense. The other thing as well is meeting people who would be very professional with what they're doing, because sometimes you meet some people who think because it's in a churchy environment, we're just helping and therefore would want to do things.
Help me promote.
Anyway, anyhow, you get me?
Yeah.
So it's getting people who would have a very professional attitude to doing things. But I think, saying that it's changing, it's changing. So yeah, from an events perspective, that's one thing. And getting people to actually willingly patronize. It's it's interesting to find that sometimes, some of our same churchy people will go and buy £50 ticket, £60 ticket to attend a secular event. These are people who come to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
But if my brother is having a concert and he says he's charging £10, that £10 is going to, hopefully, so he doesn't get into debt, so he can pay off the band, pay the venue, and all of that.
Yeah.
He will struggle to get people in. You see,
But why is that? So today maybe we have to address that.
Yeah.
Why is that? That's
I think it's a mentality of us sometimes thinking that some people are already made, and therefore, it's in this day and age of social media has a way of making certain people look a certain way, and therefore everybody gravitates towards those people.
okay.
Because, for years we've been hearing their names. So for somebody who is new coming in, it will take a while for you to also build a followership. Okay, we're talking about money here, and if my sister has put music out and I haven't heard her sing before, she has to convince me to buy her music. Rather than if artist B puts her music or his music out there, we know them. They've been consistent over the years. They've had a few hits. Psychologically.
And they've win awards.
Psychologically, people are going to gravitate towards that person. Okay, rather than to my sister, until such a time that she's been consistent and she's been putting quality stuff out there day in, day out. Then people know, oh, it's Akosua. Oh man, I like that woman, her music. When you go to her event, it's like this. Then things begin to change. So unfortunately, it's a very long journey. And I like what she says, that, if you have the passion, then you'll be able to go that journey. Because otherwise, after a while, you get frustrated.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother used the word, he said, you feel a bit depressed. I think it's more frustration than depression.
It's mixed.
Because
it's frustration plus depression.
When you think you're doing everything possible, and then sometimes maybe you're even sitting somewhere and listening to somebody playing the saxophone, and you're like,
it's the same.
That guy's not as talented as me. And we're human. Sometimes we do that kind of comparison and evaluation. But how come everybody's on their feet? What he's playing, I can play 5 times that. And that in itself can lead to frustration. I think it's about you knowing what your calling is. Yeah. And just carrying on to do what you feel God has called you to do.
Yeah, before we went on there, we were discussing, and like now, I don't see a lot of people playing the saxophone. So, but when we say gospel music, now everybody's a gospel artist. And so, because maybe, as you said, they lead the praise and worship team, and when it's praise time and we all dancing, then somebody says, oh, you can do an album, or you can launch. And so you want to launch, and then we hear one music or one album, and then you disappear. So how can we then differentiate that? Because I lead the choir, or I am not called to be a gospel artist. Could you define that for me, Akosua, first of all?
Okay.
Because you sing in the church as well,
Yes.
so not that I'm picking on you. Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I think, first of all, you have to want the passion, and if you're a leader or if you're a praise and worship leader, that doesn't mean you can be an artist.
Okay.
It's a call. God have to, it's a call. So you have to know that being praise and worship leader is not the same as an artist. The praise and worship leader, you always go to church, you lead every single time.
Mm-hmm.
An artist do more. So it should be a calling before you can, you can be an artist, because it's hard work.
Okay.
It's really hard work.
Okay. Godwin, what do you want to say?
Yeah, being an artist and church praise and worship leader, they are two different things. Yeah, because there are a lot of things they do in church doesn't make people can stand up and be dancing, doesn't make it perfect. Yeah, but in the artistic world, everything must be perfect. The way you dress, the way you present yourself, the way you talk, the way you present anything you are doing. Those things are very, very important there. But in church, things
You
like
can
that
just.
you can just.
Oh, is it? Okay. Uncle Charles.
I kind of, let me deviate, well, not deviate, but look at it from a different angle. I totally agree with what my sister said as well. I think people should be aware that sometimes not everyone is called to be out there in the world. Some people are called to serve the local church. Some people serve the local church and go out into the world. Some people are mainly out there into the world. But everyone is playing their part in building the kingdom. So the fact that somebody is a local church praise and worship leader doesn't make them irrelevant in the kingdom. And sometimes people look at that as, this is not where I really belong. I don't want to be here. But out of service, sometimes promotion comes out of service. So when somebody is consistent, somebody is doing their best and consistently developing their art, who knows, out of that could take you into your next level. Are you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's about somebody really taking the position that they're in now and looking at that position with all seriousness and dealing with it. You know, if you're singing to a church of 200 people, see them as you're singing to 2,000. Did you get me? Consistently you're doing stuff, and who knows who would come to your church and see you and maybe invite you, you know, to come to their church. So I think that's where, you know, that's where it comes
Okay,
in.
I have a question then from Julius. Hello, Julius. Julius says that most gospel musicians don't prepare enough, and so the music they put out there is of low quality.
I agree sometimes. Sometimes people, one of the things that I'd like to say is that for a lot of big name musicians that we see out there, most of them have been in the background for years and have understudied some musicians, you know, have learned the trade, if I can use it that way, have served. And this is what I'm saying, out of service, their promotion have come. Because out of service, they've learned how the person that they were understudying made some mistakes, and therefore they correct those mistakes. That person has corrected them. So that preparation time is necessary. It's a process. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we go to Sainsbury's and we go and buy our chicken or whatever, it's gone through a process. That chicken was hatched. Somebody looked after it, fed it. It grew. Well, it's arguable how long chicken takes to grow in this country. Maybe 2 weeks or something. But it's a process. And you can't shortcut that process. That process of service, of development, of honing in your act. So I agree with my brother who's asked that question on social media. Yes, sometimes preparation is a problem, and people want to rush and do things. It's
especially that, you know, and some people too, if I may say, is that because of social media, we see, Uncle Charles is got the following, and because, you know, so okay, I also want to be, I want to be a gospel artist, and I think it's very deceptive, and because behind the scenes, we all don't know the work that goes
on
behind the scenes.
I'm telling you, some of these artists, you know, if they tell you their story, if they tell you the experiences that they've had, some of these traveling artists, they tell you sometimes how they get treated by promoters. You know, I've known somebody who, you know, they might be watching, so I'm not even going to go there. But, you know, people have really gone through the mill, and they tell you their experiences, and sometimes it's not all, you know, rosy. But out of that, they've learned. Out of that, they've evolved. You see, so the artist that you see out there now who's making an impact, if you go behind the scenes and check their history, they've probably had about 2 years of what we see as glory. But they've had 18 years.
18 years of hardship. You know, Akosua hasn't had that yet, so we will ask Akosua. But you've worked under the leadership of Reverend Mensa Otabil. You've played at Greater Works conferences, and were there times that you think you've been like, you've seen another person, they brought another person, and you felt like I can do better? You're human.
No, but for me, I believe music is
but
love.
no.
What I believe music is love.
Yeah.
You know, we need to share that love within ourselves, and I've tried also to train people, and people who knows more than me, which I know that they know more than me, I even give them platform on the stage.
Okay.
So I believe music is love. Yeah, that's what.
That's
I try my possible best to remove that, to work on that.
Jealousy spirit.
Jealousy spirit.
That's good to know. Okay, you I think should I spare her and let her come back in a year's time so that, because she's just 1 year old. But have you looked on social media and seen some of the female gospel artists and like, oh please, I can sing better than them? What are they doing? Have you ever had those moments in your head?
I'll give you an honest question.
Honest answer. Okay.
To be honest, I admire them.
Okay.
Like Hamilton, Sissy, Chung, I just admire them.
Oh, good.
So I follow most of them
Okay.
just to see what they're doing and what is happening. I really admire them, especially Diana Hamilton. I really admire them. Yeah.
Okay, so Diana, shout out to you. Congratulations on her award. So please tell Diana that she's got an admirer here. But maybe one day they could collaborate. You never know. Why not? But you know, on a serious note, I want to come back to church again and supporting our own, because say you AGMA, it's on the 1st of June, and imagine the whole church had bought.
Listen, I'll be laughing by now.
The ticket, and so today another thing that we're doing is that we are pleading to our communities and our churches, especially our home churches, you know, because if my church, and I'm thankful that I have a church that supports white, especially my bishop. My bishop supports me, so shout out to my bishop.
I have a church where, you know, my bishop supports that as well. You know,
but the members,
after every Sunday service, he picks up the mic himself and he reminds people, because sometimes I feel a bit uncomfortable when I'm constantly reminding people in church that, oh, the event is coming up. But my pastor will pick up the microphone and he would say, guys, it's 2 more Saturdays from now. Next week Saturday, we're all going to AGMA. For that, I don't think, you know, I can fault my pastor on that.
Okay.
He's very supportive. But I couldn't say that for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone gets it that good.
Okay.
And you're saying, sometimes, you know, we could do better.
We could do better.
With regards to
shout out to you, Bertha. Bertha sings that Mr. Sachs, Gideon, have any CDs that he may be selling, or how can we get hold of your music? So if you have, do you have any CDs? Is there a link that maybe before we end the show you can share? Yes, Bertha, he does have a link that he's going to be sharing. But imagine that thank you so much, Bertha and Julius, for putting out your questions. If our home churches could, if they were going to support what each and every person was doing, imagine what would happen with our ministries. Because, you know, we see Whitney Houston came out of the church, Usher came out of the church. Most of the R&B singers that we see out in the world were all from the church, were singing in the choir. But some would say because nobody was supporting them, they find a worldly producer and then off they go, and then they hit. Uncle Charles, what would you say?
I think it works both ways. Yes, we could say the churches can help a bit more, and surely they could do a bit more. But then also, what exactly were we expecting from the churches? Because maybe you were a praise and worship leader in the church, and as I was saying, were you that faithful in serving in the church? Or, you know, were you just doing it anyway, anyhow? Because let's face it, our pastors are humans as well. And they have a limited amount of money to run the church with. So if it's financial help that we're thinking of, your pastor would want to see that you're worth investing in. And I know some pastors who invest in their musicians. I can tell you there are some churches that I can mention who support their musicians to the highest level.
Oh, wow.
And make sure that they are paid. Oh, some churches do it.
Good.
You know, but I think those churches have done it because maybe the pastor have seen that these people take their art seriously. They're very serious about what they're doing.
Okay.
And therefore they're worth investing into. But then obviously you might have that pastor who it doesn't matter what you do, you know, even if you you're not their
gonna go out.
Well, I'm not happy to go at anyone. So, but I'm just trying to say it's both sides. So maybe sometimes our expectations of what the churches can do for us is also very unrealistic. So we need to balance it well. But where the churches will be able to help, then maybe they should. But I'll give you another example. Like,
before you go on, somebody's asking how much does it cost to produce a single track? How much did it cost you to produce your track?
I can't really say it out there, but I think it depends.
It depends
on
what
because every producer is different.
But roughly, at least maybe I'm not saying the name, but maybe the person wants to know, you know, if they're going to do the budget.
It depends. It depends on the producer. Like Akosia said, it depends on the producer that you're using. It depends on the type of song that you're producing. Because if you're producing, like, say, a ballad where it's just keyboards, bass guitar, drums, it's going to be cheaper to produce than if you're producing a song that has horns. And, no, seriously, that has horns and percussion.
Saxophones.
Because they have to pay the saxophonist. The producer has to pay the percussionist. They have to pay maybe, you know, different people playing different instruments. So it all adds up before they add theirs on top of it. So it's very difficult to actually give a figure. But if you're using a producer who knows their stuff,
their craft,
and obviously has some hits behind them, expect to pay more than somebody who's using you as an experiment.
Okay.
And there are people who would use some people as experiments.
Okay.
Maybe he's only just recently started producing, you know, and he would he would tell you, how much do you have? Say, okay, well, maybe I have only 500. They'll produce a
500 pounds or 500 CDs.
He'll produce a 500 pounds worth of song for you. And then there'll be somebody who might also cost you about 2,000 pounds. They'll produce a 2,000 pound, you know, and the person who would charge you higher obviously has a CV to back it up.
Okay. That is exciting. So if you're out there and you're thinking of producing or going to be a gospel artist or even the music, you know, you have to really check.
Yeah, the best thing is to talk to
you know, and another thing that a sister and I were talking, and I said, okay, so what is your budget to promote your music? What is your budget in advertising? What is your budget? She said, I don't have any budget. God will do it.
Which is what I was
saying. He said, God will do it.
Which is what I was saying to Akosia, because for most artists, the priority is going into the studio and producing the song.
Yeah.
But what shall it profit a man if you go to the studio and you produce a song and the song sits in your room? Because they have not budgeted as to how they will promote. There's no promotion strategy for that music. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no strategy for promoting the music. So you have people who have music sitting in their room because they thought about going to promote the song, to record the song, but they never thought about how they will promote it.
Yeah.
And that is I think in my, you know, from where I'm sitting at the moment, the promotion itself is even harder than the recording.
Yeah.
For the recording, you know, you might be somebody who is a good songwriter, you would write the song easily. You go into a studio, you have a good producer, they will put it together for you beautifully. What do you do with it?
Yeah. Right. So, Mr. Sax, could you give us another, you know, just for us to refresh, because I think that I want to produce one before you guys go. I want to produce one, and we are so excited that we have Shaggy Sax. This your name is very interesting. Who plays or who has had the honor of playing for Reverend Mensah Otabil for many years for his Greater Works conferences, and today we are so honored to have him play at the Nana Churches show and at the studios. So go ahead and do your thing. Akosia, if you want to sing along, you can sing along.
No.
Yeah, and then I'll start recording. Uncle Charles, you do the management. Yeah.
Because I don't speak Ga, I don't really know.
Okay. You do your thing.
Yemela. You don't know. Okay, let me sing like you deserve the glory.
All right. So. This is you passed the test, Uncle Charles. What do you think?
What was that?
I play on G.
Yeah, wow, that is yeah. Well done, well done. So I just wanted to hear Akosia's voice on the raw and but well done. Uncle Charles, what do you think? We'll get our CDs before they go, right? We can produce one here. We have all the equipments, but well done. You I know that, doing this, and I'm happy that we're having this conversation, and, even though sometimes we don't have the bigger platform, the platform that we have, we use it. And we use it, one, to the glory of God, and then, to the service of the community, and to that. And Uncle Charles, when is Agma, what day?
It's on Saturday.
This coming Saturday.
The 1st of June.
And all the church members are coming, right?
And everyone.
Everyone is coming.
I'm inviting everyone to be there. It's, at the Discovery Center in Newham, Showcase, right next to the Showcase Cinema. It's Jenkins Road, IG 110AD. It's going to be a fantastic night. So, flying. Well, he's actually here. Koda is here. He's going to be live on the night.
Okay.
And then on the night as well, we would have the likes of. We're trying to cover different parts of Africa. There's a young lady here now who is, up and coming, fantastic. Goes by the name of Lydia Cabs. She's Congolese. There's another young lady from Ghana, goes by the name of Niela. She will be there. Afri David will be there. Akese Brempong hopefully will be here. He will be here by the weekend as well. So it's just going to be a fantastic.
It's a room of, it's going to be powerful.
Diana Hamilton is one of the hosts for the night as well. So you never know.
You never know. You never know.
I don't know.
You never know. And I hope you two will make it there. Unfortunately, I have my women conference, and every time Uncle Charles and I have this Uncle Charles, why do you put it on my women conference? But he's my big uncle, so I support him anyway. But next year, please don't put it on my women conference so that I can.
How about you not putting it on?
That one is the church one.
For years now.
Yeah, somebody. Akosha, this is basically. Can the lady sing something as well? And so, yes, why not sing your single for us to hear?
Okay.
Yes, go for it.
Are you going to play for me, or should just?
Yeah, we want to hear your voice.
Because you don't know the song, that's why I'm
Yeah, sing.
This is my portion today. This is my portion today. The peace of God shall dwell in my heart. This is my portion today. And this is my portion of joy. This is my portion of joy. The joy of the Lord shall dwell in my heart. This is my portion today.
Wow.
Asumje ya mechefa ene. Asumje ya mechefa ene. Osura asumje entna makumamu. Asumje ya mechefa ene.
Awesome, right? We feel like having church here now. Well done, Akosia. Well done.
Thank you.
I am so thankful that I've gotten to hear it raw. I'm so, I'm not that I'm putting you on the spot, but sometimes, it's good because, we were having a conversation that some people have all this following and all that, so they make noise behind the scenes. And then when you put them on the spot and you listen to the key, it's like, should we go under the table, Uncle Charles? Have you been there? So getting you saying,
I said to my husband, please don't let her tell me to sing, because I was having flu yesterday. And my throat was like, God, I'm like, please.
Yeah, but hey, we just flow over here, and I'm so thankful that all of you made it here. I wish you all the best. I wish you your best here. And whilst you visit other places and play, we know that you're going to go far. And I'm looking forward to all of you coming back in a year's time and telling me your experience. So thank you for coming, Akosia. All the best. Hopefully next year we'll be nominating you on AGMA. You never know. You never know. And Uncle Charles, keep on doing what you're doing.
We're pushing.
It's a joy to know you. It's a joy to see, even though I'm growing, you're growing. I can see your growing. So I wish AGMA 2019 all the best. And where can we find you on social media?
For now, I've not put the music is not on social media.
Yeah, but your social media handler, you're on Instagram. Shagzy Sax on Instagram. So follow Shagzy Sax on Instagram, and you have some stuff also on YouTube. On YouTube as Shagzy Sax. Okay, Akosia, where can we find you as well?
You can find me on Instagram, official Akosia, and on Facebook, Akosia Owusia, and on YouTube, official Akosia.
Okay, Uncle Charles.
Well, myself personally.
AGMA.
Oh, okay. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Twitter as well. Twitter is Uncle Charles 7. Facebook is Unc Charles, and it's the same on Instagram as well. And for AGMA is AGMA 2019 on Twitter, and also on Facebook, African Gospel Music and Media Awards.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, last year we sold out VIP tickets. So if anybody wants some, don't hang about. We only have a few. We just had to release some more VIP tickets. So if you need some, please
awesome.
Don't hesitate. Get them now.
Awesome. And so what final advice would you give to those out there, up and coming gospel artists? What would you tell them?
I think what I would say is that whatever they are doing, they should continue doing it and be prayerful.
Yeah. Akosia?
What I would say is, anyone coming up at the moment, you have to stay focused and you have to be committed in whatever you're doing And you have to have the passion in what you're doing. And remember, without God, you're nothing. Without God, you can do nothing. So let God lead.
Uncle Charles?
I think I agree with everything that they've said, but also to approach whatever they're doing with all seriousness. Whether you're at church or whether you're a traveling musician, you know, I mean, the Bible tells us that whatever you do, do it as though you're doing it unto God. And I believe that if you seek the things of God first, He will then add on to it everything else that you're looking for. Favor, He will bring the right people your way if you have the right attitude to what you're doing. The Bible tells us that our gifts shall make a way for us.
Yes.
So I believe that if God has given you this gift and you cherish that gift and you polish the gift and you present it well, it will draw men unto you. And it's not as if it's about you, it's about God.
Yeah.
And His word says, if I be lifted up, I will draw men unto me.
So at the end of the day, it's your presentation, how you present your gift to the world out there. And never forget that without God, you ain't going anywhere. Thank you so much for watching. Keep watching and follow the Nana Cheche Show on social media, wherever. I would say just Google Nana Cheche and we'll pop up. Thank you for watching and stay tuned and keep watching all the time. God bless and thank you for